Hi, I'm Matt Collins. I'd like to welcome you to Bob Weber Auto Mart on Douglas Avenue here in Racine, across from Douglas Park. We specialize in 1-year-old, low mileage, almost new cars. And if you'd like to stop by and see them, or see them on our website, bobweberautomart.com, we could save you between $5,000 and $10,000 on your next almost new car purchase.
Welcome into another edition of Sports Junkies as we talk some Bucks basketball. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you from Sports Radio 1250 WSSP, along with Gery Woelfel of the Racine Journal-Times. Hi, Gary.
I can't wait for this segment.
Yeah? You're excited?
You know,
talk some Bucks basketball.
I am almost as excited about this as I am with Homeland, the greatest show ever. And you're going to tell me you've never seen one episode, right? Oh, my God. Come on.
I don't watch a lot of TV. I keep trying to tell you.
I don't either, but I do watch that.
Yeah,
that is an incredible series. I recommend it to everyone.
Okay, now
back to the Bucks.
I want to ask you something before we get into the Bucks and start getting upset at the fiasco that this organization really is, like we do every week.
A fiasco?
Yeah.
Isn't that a little strong?
Nope. Not when we document what's happened so far this year.
Okay.
But before we get into that, I want to get your thoughts on a story that we talked about on The Big Show that you can hear weekday afternoons from 2 to 6 on WSSP. Did you see the story of a middle school football coach, okay, so 7th, 8th graders,
right,
that area, okay,
right,
that decided he was going to have his end-of-the-year football banquet for his team, little football party at the end of the year, at Hooters. And the school board, or whatever the case may be, didn't think that was a good idea, told him, no, probably shouldn't have it there, go somewhere else. He said, no, we're having it at Hooters.
Okay.
Yeah. They said, you're fired.
Sure.
And they fired him.
Okay.
My question to you is this. As a parent, now your kids are all grown up and out of the house, but as a parent back then, 7th and 8th graders, would you have a problem taking your kids to Hooters? Not your kids.
Yeah.
Forget your daughter. Your son, Joey. Would you have a problem taking him to Hooters when he was in 7th or 8th grade?
Probably, yeah.
Why?
Yeah. It's a little risque at that
Risque?
point. Yeah.
Did you not allow your children to watch TV when they were growing up?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Because
no. You know what? And that's a good question. By the way, I love their burgers. Their cheeseburgers are awesome.
Never had a burger there.
Every time I go down to the NBA camp down in Chicago, there's a Hooters like a couple blocks from there. But anyways, I go there strictly for the food. Okay,
right.
Let's make sure we got that straight.
Yeah.
So you know what? The teacher is a moron. If he was told by the administration...
No, I agree with you on that. If the administration said don't go there, don't get fired.
That's pure defiance, but he should have been fired.
But the debate on our show yesterday was, as a parent, would you have a problem with your 7th or 8th grade boy going to a Hooters? Now, Gary Ellison, my co-host, who's a parent, like you, and who has 2 kids that are already in college. One's out working for the Bears PR staff. The other one is a senior in college. But then he's got a younger son who's like 9 years old right now, right? Okay. He's coming up on that age. And he said, absolutely not, that's totally against it. And we took calls for an hour, and it was pretty much split between who had a problem with it and who didn't have a problem with it. Because my argument is...
So are you saying that Larry Sanders should have went to a Hooters instead of that nightclub?
He wouldn't have been in the same situation. I can promise you.
I bet he wouldn't have been.
Now, the Larry Sanders story... That came out, again, Channel 4 Milwaukee broke that story.
Congratulations to TMJ for it.
Yeah,
fine job.
They did a nice job. But until we see security tape or something that shows Sanders starting it, I'm not going to go after Larry Sanders. I want to see what actually happened. Because right now, we got a guy talking and 2 brothers. Now, we have no idea if the 2 brothers started it, if Larry started it, who threw the first punch, what escalated this. I want to hear the whole story
You know who started it was Brandon Jennings.
What?
Well, do you remember how he and Sanders got into a fight last
night? Stop.
So I blame everything on Jennings. I really don't care. I mean,
I want to see, before I go off on Larry Sanders, I want to see more of the story. And I know everybody else is going to jump on him right away and assume he started it. But until I actually see something...
You know what? I'm actually proud of you because in past years, you would have jumped on Larry Sanders. You must be maturing.
I'm going to tell you, when this story broke at 5 o'clock yesterday...
you were ready to jump on him.
I was hot.
Yeah.
And I said, look, you, as a leader of this basketball team, as a guy that signed all that big deal, as a guy that this organization trotted around all of southeastern Wisconsin as a face of the franchise all summer long, it was him and John Henson, remember?
Correct.
That's who they brought everywhere, all of the interviews, everything, all right? As that guy, you can't be getting yourself into a fight. So I was disappointed and angry in Larry. Number one and foremost. Now, after that happened, I had an opportunity to talk to some people that know Larry. Mm-hmm. I heard their version of the story. So I want to see what the actual version is before I go after that.
I'm sure at this time next week we will be talking about the Larry Sanders incident. But at the same time, I think Larry Sanders not only owes an apology to Bucks fans, he owes a big, big apology to Herb Cole and John Hammond. They gave him this $44 million extension. They put faith on him to be the right guy for this organization. This team is very PR conscious. They don't want anybody being the face of their franchise. And to me, he let both those individuals down big time. He should have never been in that situation no matter what. I talked to several of his teammates, and they said, you know what? He should have walked away. He should have got the hell out of there or had people with him. Several players, when they go out into a club, they're with other people, so incidents like this don't occur. So he has nobody to fault except himself.
Well, see, the reason this doesn't make sense to me is because in talking to the people that know him, everybody tells me that he's a pretty mild-mannered dude when he's out. That he really doesn't even...
He's a very nice guy.
He just gets kind of chilled, stays to himself, really doesn't deal with a lot of people. Yeah. So that's why I want to know what happened. Because, now again, I'm going to lay out a scenario. Yeah. If this is... I'm going to lay this out, because I said this on the Big Show yesterday. If this is what happened, Larry's out at the club during a party, and these guys, whoever they are, come up and go, dude, man, you been playing that, man? You got benched for Zaza? Man, how sad are you, Larry? Man, you suck all that money wasted on you. Now, if that happened, and Larry turned around and popped him, okay, then Larry's going to get, I'm going to rip Larry. If that happened, because they're wrong, obviously, but he should walk away.
He should be more restrained. No
okay, fair enough. Yeah. But if Larry's doing his thing, and all of a sudden guys come up to him and grab him and start punching him.
This is my $200 sweater. Watch what you're grabbing.
There's no way it's $200. If somebody comes up and starts punching him, well, then that's not on Larry. You can't be ripping Larry, nor can the Bucks organization or anybody else if he essentially gets jumped in a club. Now, that's totally different from the first scenario. That's why I want to see the tape. If Larry threw the first punch, okay, at whoever this was, then he gets blamed. And I don't care what they said, he gets blamed.
That's always one of the reasons I always admired Michael Redd. He was one of the few. Yeah, and I'll tell you why. He was one of the few players that really got it. He knew he was the face of the organization, that he would be watched constantly. He would seldom ever go out to a bar. Almost all the time he'd go back to his hotel room and do.
But not everybody is like that.
Absolutely not. But I mean, it just tells you, how mature he is. I mean, he got it.
Now you remember, he saw the Kobe did the same thing, and Kobe got ripped for being a loner, not
exactly.
Michael Redd does it, and it's a great thing.
Right.
But just checking.
And you do alienate yourself. I mean, but you're doing the right thing. But if you're doing the right thing, how can they criticize them? But they do anyways. So
right.
He's
Gery Woelfel. I'm Steve Sparky Pfeiffer. That wraps up our Larry Sanders conversation. Now
let's talk about Hooters for lunch.
No. Let's talk about this Bucks situation that we have now in general. You still don't have Luke Ridnour, or you still don't have Brandon Knight. Ersan out with the knee again, still. I got a feeling this may be lingering all year. So you got that to deal with. Delfino.
I talked to him last night. It's not good. It's not getting better for Ersan. So
it's not getting better.
It's not getting better. Normally after a couple of weeks it gets better. It's not getting better. So that's something that definitely bears watching.
Well, that means John Henson's going to get a lot of playing time then.
Which isn't all bad.
And Henson is showing this baby hook around the rim that I like. If he could do it consistently, I'd be a very happy guy.
And I brought this up on the season opener. Why didn't he start then? They went with Chris Middleton.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, Larry, you got to play John Henson. That's the bottom line.
Well, they're going to now. Obviously, Ersan's out. Delfino, who knows if he'll play at any point in the next couple of months. So
don't say.
You've got something on Delfino.
What? I saw him at Hooters last week.
Don't start that rumor for Delfino.
No. Well, it doesn't need to be started.
Right.
Trust me. But anyways, I talked to him last night, and today, as we speak, Thursday, he is going to meet with team doctors, and he's going to find out where he stands with his situation. If he gets the green light to go, he's back on the practice floor very soon.
Like I said, we'll see if Delfino's back in the next couple of months. Now, as I was saying, besides the two guards and Delfino, they have a situation brewing here, which is a good situation, because their second-round pick, Nate Walters, is playing so well right now that when Ridnour and Brandon Knight are healthy, Larry Drew has his hands full trying to figure out what they're going to do with that point guard situation if Walters is still playing well. And right now, and Larry Drew said it after the game, after they won against the Cavaliers, he's just so mature. He doesn't get rattled. And when he pulled him out of the fourth quarter,
you know that calm, even-keeled
definitely
demeanor?
not. But when they pulled Walters out, and Larry Drew said he wanted to go with veterans to kind of put the game away, and then they blew it. And then he put Walters back in there to get the offense reorganized, I believe is how he said it. That gives you an idea that, look, this kid, no, he's not going to score 20 a night, even though I think his offense is underrated. You really haven't seen how good he is offensively yet. He can score. He can shoot the ball. But to this point, he's not turning the ball over. He's setting up teammates. He's showing the ability to get to the rim and finish. I like what I've seen.
Sounds like you're ready to make him an all-star already.
No, but I'll tell you this.
No, I'm kidding.
I'll tell you this right now. Yeah. I don't need Luke Ridnour if he plays like this. I can move Luke Ridnour for a second-round pick or whatever. I don't need Ridnour if he plays like this.
Well, you know what? It's early. It's only 4 games into the season, so I'm going to temper that. But I will say this. What is my favorite stat for a point guard? You've known me a long time.
Turnover to assist ratio.
Okay. Do you know what his turnover to assist ratio is for the last 3 games? Okay, a good turnover assist ratio is usually 3 to 1.
3 assists to 1 turnover.
Some people get 4, some people 5. He has had 22 assists in the last 3 games, 2 turnovers.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. That's off the charts. I mean,
about 10 to 1. 11 to 1. Yeah.
Did you get A's in math?
No.
So anyways, but I mean, if he manages the game like he has the last several games, I mean, what a coup for the Bucks. I mean, all of a sudden, they got 3 really good point guards. Not really good point, but really 3 solid point guards. So nice situation for Larry Drew. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out when Brandon Knight comes back, when Ridnour comes back. And you know who I see a little Steve Nash in him, you know, like how he likes to penetrate and then he dribbles back out. And I asked him last night who his favorite player was all the time. Steve Nash.
I know you're a big Brandon Knight fan.
Yes.
I'm not. But if Brandon Knight comes back and if he isn't the guy, then they should just move him. I don't need Brandon Knight because you're not going to win a championship regardless. So if Walters can be that guy that can run this team, get spacing, shoot the ball, and get everybody in the position, and if you can get a good young player from Brandon Knight at a different position, then make that deal. That's where I'm at.
I don't think you cross that bridge yet. I think you wait.
Well, no, it's early. Yeah. I'm saying come January, if Brandon Knight is looking what Brandon Knight looked like in the preseason, then I don't need to see
what, though? That last night I really thought was a time where they could have used Brandon Knight because they played Kyrie Irving, a big point guard. A very talented.
But they were playing Mayo on Kyrie.
Yeah, exactly.
They were playing Walters on him.
But I'm saying if Brandon Knight was in the game, he could have matched up with him. Now Kyrie Irving probably would have scored almost as many points.
28.
But I don't think not nearly as many. Because Brandon Knight is a very, very good defender. He's the best defensive point guard the Bucks have had since Quinn Buckner. That's a long time ago.
Well, I can't wait to see this lockdown defender at the point guard position.
Nobody's a lockdown defender at the point guard position anymore because of the rules, but he is a very good defender, no doubt about it.
You are a big Brandon Knight fan. I can't wait to actually see him play because I've seen him play 2 years in Detroit, not impressed. So that's the point guard situation. The other situation that we talked about on the Pick and Save Basketball postgame show last night was Giannis. Did not play, did not go out there DNP against the Cavaliers. There are a lot of people within the Bucks fan base that want him playing regardless of whatever the situation may be, 20 minutes a night, to get him better as soon as possible. I've said it before, I'll say it again. They're trying to make the playoffs. They're not about trying to get anybody better necessarily. So if he's going to hurt the team from winning, he's not going to play in tight games. That was a tight game for the most part when they had a chance to win. He didn't play. This is how this is going to go all year, I got a feeling.
You know what? And because of Chris Middle, I mean, you're going to start Caron Butler. That's a given. Caron's going to play.
Yeah, the game-winning tip-in, you could arguably say. I mean, Middle had some free throws, but he tipped in that shot.
It was funny because I was talking to Larry Drew about that last night. I did not realize Caron still had those kind of hops.
Yeah.
I mean, he got up there.
I don't need you taking 7 threes, though, Caron.
No.
You don't need to take 7 threes in a game.
But that was a big
Ever again.
I mean, that was definitely the play of the game last night.
It was.
So anyways, so Caron's going to get 25 minutes minimum. I mean, at one point, they were talking about giving him like 33. Middleton has played well enough that he warrants playing time. Not saying he needs 20 minutes, but he needs at least 8 or 10, you know? Give him some time. what happens when Delfino comes back into the mix?
Then Middleton doesn't play.
Yeah.
Then it's Delfino and Butler.
But my point here is that it just pushes Giannis back more and more. And you made a good point on the way over here to our illustrious studio that maybe they should send him to the D-League. And I'm not...
Not maybe. Definitely.
Yeah, see, I'm not opposed to that, but I would wait a while. I'd let them see, like, hey, sometimes we got back-to-back games. We'll play 4 games in 5 days.
He's not playing in any of those games.
No,
so he's not feeling the wear on his legs of what that's like.
But he gets acclimated to the facilities, to travel.
Do you know what he gets acclimated to? No, stop.
This kid has never done that before.
Fine. And he can do the same thing in the D-League without as many as distractions.
No.
When you're in the NBA, you're showing up at hotels with women and all this stuff. That's what you're trying to get acclimated to?
He's got to get acclimated to everything.
Well, get him a chick on the road in the D-League at every hotel, have her waiting for him if that's what you're worried about. Seriously.
I mean, when you walk into an arena, if you walk into the United Center, you get a feel for what it's like. You see other players, how they play. There's so many reasons to keep them with the team. You can become a better player by just watching. You don't have to necessarily play.
Tell me that guy that didn't play for 3 years in the league that came back so much better.
3 years?
When's he going to play, Gary? How is he going to play?
You know what? To be honest with you, I was surprised they gave him, what was it the other night, 18, 20 minutes? Mm-hmm. I mean, that was shocking. I never thought he'd get actually more than 8 or 10, probably until maybe the middle of the season. If you recall, when Vin Baker came into the league, they did the same thing. And Vin Baker played college basketball, and they brought him around real slowly. First half of the season, they were saying, like, what a bust. He was the 8th overall pick. All of a sudden, the second half of the season, he just blossomed. He took off. But he learned about the NBA game. Very seldom do you see a guy walk into the NBA game and make an impact.
There are over 100 guys on NBA rosters to start the season that have played in the D-League at some point. Over 100 guys. So clearly the D-League is working somewhat. Clearly somebody's learning something down there. But clearly the experience is benefiting somebody if you have over 100 guys on NBA rosters right now that played in the D-League.
And tell me how many of them are starters.
That I don't know. I don't know that stuff.
It's a very small number. Most of these guys are like the 11th, 12th, 13th guy on rosters. I mean, it's a nice number to throw out there, but you don't see any superstars. You don't even see any stars that played in the D-League. None.
That went down there, weren't at some point.
I don't think so, no. I really don't.
I want to find that out.
I'll bet if you could find more than 2 or 3 guys,
you should email the NBA and ask them. I bet you they got the number.
How many starters?
How many starters on NBA rosters right now played in the D-League at some point in their career?
Okay, but my point is stars or superstars. There's certainly no superstars.
Well, no, but he's not a superstar. He's not a superstar. Because I'll tell you what,
he can become a star. Don't you think he can become a star?
No,
I do. I definitely.
All this stuff with this Kevin Durant stuff.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant dominated in high school. Mm-hmm. Kevin Durant dominated in college when he got to Texas. He's Kevin Durant's age. He's not dominating. He's not close to dominating. He is raw. Well, very, very raw. And if he's this raw because he hasn't played against good talent, which he didn't over in Greece, then I want him to go play against somebody and get the experience of playing against guys that are right there below the NBA.
First of all, whoever said he was Kevin Durant?
The Bucks. The Bucks talked about.
No. I brought this up on the night of the draft. I asked John Hammond and Larry Drew. I said, is he kind of like a poor man's Kevin Durant? And they said, yeah, poor man's.
Okay, what does poor man's Kevin Durant mean?
They have similarities.
Like what? They're long?
They're long. They got...
Larry Sanders is long.
This kid has basketball skills like Kevin Durant, but they're not as refined as Kevin Durant's, okay? There's only so many Kevin Durants that have ever come through the league.
Right, so that means he's not a superstar.
No, I don't think he's going to be a superstar, but I think he's going to be.
So if you don't think he's going to be a superstar, then put him down there and let him get the experience.
Maybe at some point, like I told you before, I'm not opposed to it.
He's not going to play. Like you said, if Delfino comes back, he's not going to play.
No, I would keep him there at least probably through December and then let him go to the D-League.
2 months of just watching.
No, and it'll be very beneficial. And not only that, of watching. When they practice, he's learning the Bucks system. He's going against good caliber players in practice. You get on the D-League, how many guys down there are really going to get down to it?
They're better than anybody he's played against.
Up until this
point. But he's better than anybody he's played against.
He's going to be playing against good guys in practice, though.
Now, Gary, if you're so right about this great guy, Giannis, then he should be able to go down there, average 25 points a night, get 7 or 8 boards a night immediately, because they're not that good of players down there. So go down there and show me that you're that much better than those guys, and then I'll bring you up and we'll play you. Go do it then. If they're not that good, if that's the Bucks philosophy is, well, they're not that good at players, it's not going to help him. He should go down there and dominate then. So give him the basketball and go dominate, show us that you're that much better, you don't deserve to be down there, and then we'll bring you back up.
Like I said, I'm not opposed to him going to the D-League.
But if he goes down there and averages 8 points, then I don't want to hear any more stuff about how great he is. That's the end of it.
Steve, he's 18 years old. Give the kid.
So was Jennings, and you were all over Brandon his rookie year. Jennings was 19, actually, and you were all over Jennings his rookie year.
And guess what? He played, and he didn't become very good.
You ripped the Bucks for throwing him into the fire and playing him right away.
Absolutely. I'm ripping him down for doing it. I thought it was a horrible mistake. I watched Brandon Jennings play again last night, and it looks like it was his first NBA game again.
I didn't see last night.
Taking bad shots. His shot, like Jay Billis accurately pointed out on the day of the draft, it's broken. It's still broken. He's got the sidearm shot.
What did the coaches do?
I have no idea, but it's still broken. And it's Brandon himself, too. He's got to work on his shot. Apparently he didn't work on it enough to rectify the problem. But you know how I stood in that. Luke Ridnour was definitely the better player at that point. No doubt. Now, Luke Ridnour is not better than Brandon Knight right now. There's a difference. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know about that, Gary.
Oh, I do.
He outplayed Brandon Knight in preseason. He deserved to start over Brandon Knight.
Luke Ridnour played all 82 games last year at shooting guard. And
we're not talking about last year. We're talking about what we saw this year at Brandon Knight.
You can't.
Zaza outplayed.
You can't base it on a small sample.
Zaza outplayed Larry.
What are we on the 22nd minute of the show?
I don't care. Ridnour outplayed Brandon Knight, and Zaza outplayed Larry Sanders this exhibition season.
Yeah.
Now, both of those point guards are hurt. So we're going to see when Brandon Knight and Ridnour come back and Walters who the best of those three guys are.
Oh, there isn't any doubt who the best is. I mean, at this particular point. Brandon Jennings is definitely the best defender. Brandon Jennings. He is definitely the best defender. He's the best player at creating his own shot. He can get into the lane whenever he wants. There's no question. He's the most athletic of the three.
Yeah, we'll see. He's Gery Woelfel. I'm Steve Sparky Pfeiffer. He's more sold on these players than I am. And that'll do it for another edition of
Poor Man's Kevin Durant. Not
Fine.
Kevin Durant.
But how poor is he? Is he poor in a box?
Say goodbye.
Is he poor living in a box, homeless on the side of the street, Kevin Durant? Or is he Kevin Durant living in a nice, beautiful $1 million condo?
And that's
which poor man? How poor is he?
And that's a Sparky rant.
Well, I'm just serious. I mean, come on. If he's that good, then play him. If he's that good, then play him. Or send him down the D-League and let him dominate somebody and then show me that he belongs to be up here.
Say goodbye.
He's so raw.
Say goodbye.
Gary, he's 3 years away from doing anything.
Cut this off.
No, seriously. He's 3 years away.
Let's have to go to a commercial break.
I'll tell you right now, everybody in the Bucks organization, if he does not play in the D-League this year, I'm going to lose my mind. He's Gery Woelfel. I'm Steve Sparky Pfeiffer. That's enough talking about the Bucks. We'll see you next time. We've seen SportsZone.com. Goodbye.